Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news. We're going to be diving into the latest around the club. Juventus have initiated contact on Thomas Partey's side. They're in talks with his representatives to get them to the Allianz Stadium. Massimiliano Allegri has actually made him a key target and main target for them in midfield. It looks like Arsenal will have to struggle to keep him, especially with offers from Saudi Arabia as well coming in. Arsenal have already turned down 2 of them, but we understand that Thomas Partey really favors Juventus over any other move, and should he leave Arsenal, Juve is going to be the final destination. We'll be talking about a new round of talks between Arsenal and Brentford, as reported by Fabrizio Romano for David Dreyer. Arsenal have confirmed the sale of Matt Turner for £7 million. I'm really angry at that price. I don't know why we are really bad at selling, but we're going to be diving into that £7 million deal for Matt Turner. And of course, Nicolas Pepe is in talks with Arsenal to terminate his deal. Just like that, Arsenal will get nothing from our most expensive signing, and Edin Ketia to Crystal Palace offers have been rejected by Arsenal. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. It's quite a very busy day for us, as we have that community shield, but then it's a busy hours. They are busy hours because we do have that Juventus stock, and of course the David Dreyer deal, which could be closed in the next 72 to 48 as well. Now I would love to ask you a question in the comment box below. Do you think Dusan Vlahovic can be a good swap with Thomas Partey? Can that be a good swap? Because Juve do want Partey, definitely. We know Juve cannot give us 40 to 45 million euros, but we do need a striker. So would you take Dusan Vlahovic in a swap deal with Thomas Partey? Let me know in the comment box below. And let's get this video to 500 likes. Let's dive into the latest. Now, let's start off with that Thomas Partey deal, because Fabrizio Romano and a couple of other outlets in Italy are actually reporting that Juventus have actually opened talks with Thomas Partey's representatives. They have initiated contact on player's side, and they're very optimistic the player wants to join them. Now, right from the beginning of the window, they really wanted Thomas Partey, but it was always going to depend on how much they can sell, how much money they can actually bring in terms of incomings, especially through selling players. And so they couldn't bid for Partey in July. They couldn't bid for Partey in June as well. Now, after selling Denis Zakaria to Monaco, it actually gives them some kind of advantage in this deal. They do have some money, probably 20-25 million euros. And they value Thomas Partey at around the same price. They value Thomas Partey at around 25 to 30 million euros. One thing I know is that Arsenal will not sell, this again according to Romano, Arsenal will not sell unless a substantial fee, unless a significant offer has been put on the table. We are talking in excess of 40 million euros. 2 Saudi Arabian clubs in Al Khaleiji and Al Nassr have both offered Arsenal 30 million euros for Thomas Partey and his services, and Arsenal have turned down the offer. So it means that there is a positive there. I mean, there is a point for us to be hopeful he will stay. There is a point for us to be optimistic, he's going to say. Because if Arsenal have turned down 30 million euros from Al Khaleiji and Al Nassr, it means that anyone without 30 million euros and above cannot sign Thomas Partey. So the scare with Juventus, and why I think Juventus are actually not a very big concern for me, is that they do not have that financial ability to negotiate a deal for Thomas Partey. Even if they agree to pay 40 million euros, they cannot structure that deal in a way that they can pay that money within 3 years. So if you look at how they've been structuring their deals, they're signing players across 5 years. They're paying installments across 5, 6, 7 years. I don't think Arsenal are going to agree to that. I don't think Arsenal are going to sit there and lose our best midfielder as we wait for money to come in 2060. It's not going to happen. But Massimiliano Allegri is one of those managers that have accomplished a lot on the big scene, on the big market, especially in European football. So he's got that great gravitational pull. He's got that magnitude. He will actually try to attract Thomas Partey. This is what I'm going to say. And I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. If Arsenal want to sell Thomas Partey, they should make it very clear to the player that you are for sale as long as an offer for 45 million euros comes in. So we don't want you to be 100% committed to the project. If he's not for sale, we need to tell him as well that you are not for sale at the moment. Whether 40 or 45 million euros comes in, we are no longer considering a sell. Now, he's one of the players that have actually had a very good preseason. He's one of the players that have come out of preseason with a real intention to bite. He's actually very, very good. I've seen him. He's concentrated. It is not. I'm not seeing this, loss of concentration, those lapses in games. His passing is on point as well, and the way he's positioning himself to win the ball back, it could be the Rice effect. It could be the fact that we have now 3 ball winners in the team. Thomas Partey is getting at least much better. So, with all due respect, I would love Dusan Vlahovic in a swap deal, and I think Juventus would actually eventually agree to this because, one, they're not going to sell Dusan Vlahovic to anyone. PSG have decided to sign Goncalo Ramos. Man United have decided to sign someone else in Rasmus Hojlund, and all the other parties that wanted a striker have looked at other alternatives. So it looks like Juve do not want Vlahovic anymore. They would want to move him on. I'm not really sure if Arsenal are really still interested. It would be I would be very interested to know whether we still have that strong interest in Dusan Vlahovic. But a swap deal is one thing that I can see. Actually, it's the only way I can see this deal go down. I don't see them pay 30, 35, just like these other clubs. And the wages Thomas Partey is earning at the moment, I'll be really intrigued if they give him the same wages. Of course, they've lost Di Maria. That means that they do have some free space on the wage bill. Zakaria is gone. They do have some free space on the wage bill. But signing a 30-year-old for 30, 40 million, it's not the best advice, Juventus would take. It's not the best decision Juventus would take. Of course, they do sign veterans. They have a real record in signing 30 plus. But in my opinion, it's a too expensive deal. It's a very expensive deal. Unless Arsenal are going to compromise. And that would be sheer stupidity from Arsenal. Because literally, we are not cornered to sell. The player has 2 years on his deal. He can extend his contract in January as well by another 2 years. I just don't see how Arsenal are in any corner or under any obligation to sell. It's going to be you either give us the money that we want, which is above 40, or we are not selling, and that should be the stance. But my scare and my problem with this is this: if 2 offers have come in from Saudi Arabia, and both of those offers have been 30 million euros. There is no guarantee that 10 more million euros will not arrive in the future. That is my problem. That is my scare. That is my concern. Yes, Juve might not sign him. Juve might not take Thomas Partey, but there is no guarantee that from Saudi Arabia, an extra 10 million euros will not come in. I'm very, very sure there is a club in Saudi Arabia that are contemplating, do we give them 35? Do we give them 40? The moment someone decides to give us 40 million euros, it's going to test our resolve. It's going to test our pull. Can we pull Partey to stay? Because they will offer him astronomical wages. But then also, can we really turn down 40 million euros for a 30-year-old? It's literally someone telling us that you signed Partey for 45 million euros, you've used him for 3 years, we're going to give you your money back, and goodbye. I don't think Arsenal are really going to refuse that offer, and it will put us in a precarious situation. I think, without a doubt, Mikel has said it in his press conferences, our aim is to win the Premier League. If our aim is to win the Premier League, we've got to keep Thomas Partey. At least it is one of the starting point. If Arsenal lose Partey, our chances to win the Premier League will absolutely be over. I still don't think we will win it with Partey, but if we lose him, any chances for us to win it will be absolutely over. But anyway, let's see what else is going on in the market. It's a busy day, like I said. Arsenal have opened a new round of talks with Brentford to sign David Raya. After last night, we confirmed an agreement between us and Nottingham Forest for Matt Turner. Now, David Raya is going to be joining for Arsenal. He's going to be an Arsenal goalkeeper just imminently. We know that. There is an agreement on the price. We just need to agree on how much Arsenal are going to pay upfront, how much Arsenal are going to pay in installments, in how many installments, and all that. Like David Onsen said, it is those finer details that are actually going to take some time to do the deal. Why? Because Brentford feel if you're not going to give us 40 million, then you've got to give us a very, very good structure on the 30 million pounds. Okay? And you know the way Arsenal do their deals, those add-ons are very difficult to achieve. Those bonuses are very difficult to come by. And the installments are always going to be spread across 3, 4, 5 years. So it's going to take some time, but a new round of talks has been scheduled by the two clubs, and we're waiting to see or hear that here we go from Fabrizio Romano. So David Raya is going to be an Arsenal player. The domino effect has eventually been set into play by Arsenal agreeing a £7 million deal for Matt Turner with Nottingham Forest. This is where I'm really angry. I just don't understand whether we are the only club that have a guy that cannot sell or guys that cannot sell, right? Because apparently, as far as now I understand, Edu is not the guy doing the day-to-day negotiations, okay? So what I don't understand, why are we so bad at selling? Why are we very, very poor at selling? We have sold Matt Turner, one of the valuable goalkeepers. Actually, we have two valuable goalkeepers. One is Turner, the other is Aaron Ramsdale. So we have sold Matt Turner at 7 million. Arsenal will receive 7 million for the sale of Matt Turner. Interesting. I tell you what is very interesting. Burnley moved to Fulham in a deal that actually ended in £3 million. Arsenal received 3 million for Burnley, and we have received 7 for Matt Turner. A total of 10 million. A total of 10 million for two very good goalkeepers. You know what? That doesn't get you much, David Raya. That doesn't get you any good goalkeeper on the market. And somehow we have sold Burnley, one of the best goalkeepers in the league last campaign for Fulham, at 3 million. If Fulham tried to sell Leno now, if they decided to sell Leno now, they would make at least 20 million, because he's worth 23 to 30 million euros. I'm very intrigued to understand why we sell at the prices we do sell at, and why we sell players that we are not really sure of their valuation. Matt Turner is not a £7 million goalkeeper. He's nowhere near that low. The minimum should have been 10, and the maximum probably around £20 million. But for Arsenal to ask for 15, in excess of 15, and end up getting 7, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why we are so bad at selling, right? Because Matt Turner is a Mikel Arteta Edu signing. He's not one of those signings where you say, well, they don't want him, they want him out. He's a Unai Emery signing, or he's an Arsene Wenger signing. This guy was signed by Edu and Mikel Arteta, and I tell you what, we've not seen flaws in his game. He's a good goalkeeper. He's a decent goalkeeper. But for us to get 7 million, it really just shows that in players like Pepe, in players like Rob Holding, you're going to get nothing. And for the last 5 years, 6 years, if there is one thing we've been really bad at, it has been selling. Even those are some of the assets that we could have gotten some good money for. Aaron Ramsey, for me, if Arsenal knew he was not going to sign a new deal, they would have sold him. He was worth 30+ million. There was no question about that. He went for a free. Now you look at all these other players, Luiz, Socrates, Mustafi, and all those players, and look at how much Arsenal have got from their sales. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Now, talking about getting nothing, Nicola Pepe and his entourage are in talks with Arsenal to terminate his deal because he wants to go to Besiktas, and Besiktas are not ready to pay anything to Arsenal to get the player. Now, Besiktas are saying that they would love to take him, and they would help Arsenal take him off the wage bill. Thank you so much, Beshi. And they're saying that because they're going to do us a favor by taking his wages away, therefore, we don't deserve to get anything, any penny from this guy. This is going to make Nicola Pepe the worst transfer of all time. If Arsenal get nothing, if we dare get nothing, it's going to make Nicola Pepe the worst transfer of all time. You know, the difference between him and players like Paul Pogba at Man United is that there were times when Paul Pogba really played like a player. There are times when Paul Pogba really was a Manchester United player. There was times when we remember Paul Pogba. We do not remember Pepe at all. Like, I don't remember Pepe. I don't remember any Pepe moments at all. I don't remember one good season where Nicola Pepe was one good guy. This is the I mean, we don't talk about it. We talk about Harry Maguire, but this is the worst transfer signing in all football history. Nicola Pepe, for 72 million, for him to do absolutely nothing, and Arsenal to get absolutely nothing in the end. And they have the audacity. I just think Arsenal need to just terminate this contract. Those guys don't need to step into London Colony for negotiations. They just need to call, can you ban the paperwork so that the deal is over? As simple as that. But listen, fair play to Nicola Pepe. He was never a £70 million signing. He was never as good as someone at Arsenal thought before signing them. And that is it. Arsenal have turned down an offer from Crystal Palace and a couple of other clubs, by the way, for Eddie Nketiah. Arsenal are really rigid on keeping him. For the first time on this channel, please keep Eddie Nketiah. Yeah. I think he's one of those strikers that have been at the club for quite some time. He understands the Premier League. He understands Mikel Arteta's ball. We can't afford to sell him. I'm sorry. We really can't afford to sell him right now. It's off the table. It's really, really off the table. But of course, we'll be discussing more of the swap deals as they come in. We'll be talking about that Vlahovic-Partey swap deal, later on. We'll be talking about the Balogun Lautaro Martinez swap deal as well. It might be a little bit complicated, but if we can pull it off, yeah, it would be a very, very good one. I'll see you right in the preview in the next, I think, half an hour.